everyone, how's it going? This video is a tutorial video for people who want to improve how to draw hands. If you look at this video, you will be able to grasp the tips of how to draw hands. It will be easier to draw if you consider the hands and fingers as blocks. However, if you think of it as a real block as in the example of the mistake, it will be like a robot's hand. So, like the example of the correct answer, let's make the joints of the fingers and the wrist bumpy. Do the same for other hand poses. I'm drawing this illustration digitally, so it can be easily erased, reduced, or moved. Even in the punch pose, the hand is uneven. Deformed characters tend to draw hands like bad examples, but the actual punching hand pose like correct answers. Before you get used to drawing hands, it might be a good idea to color the blocks of hands and draw. For example, you can easily find out whether the blocks on the fingertips are deviated. If you draw while keeping in mind where the colored blocks go, you will naturally become better at drawing. The shape of the hand differs between women and men. A famous manga artist draws different hand shapes among the characters. That's amazing. Female hands are basically rounded. Not only the shape of the hand, but also the fingertips are rounded. So, if you want femininity in hands, please draw thin round hands. On the other hand, the shapes of male hands are all angular. If you draw masculine hands, please draw big, rugged, angular hands. The tips of the fingers are also thick and angular. So, please be careful when you draw them. The illustrations above are basically the poses of the hand you often see. The poses of the hand drawn below are versions of the above illustrations with different angles. In particular, the first illustration with a different angle may be difficult for beginners. So, I'm drawing a confused emoji next to it to express the difficulty. It is easy to draw illustrations such as peace signs, where there is space between fingertips by drawing a thin curve between them to adjust the balance. I practiced the reverse version of the peace sign too. It is easier to draw a fist with a block, as I did with the basic hand drawing methods. At that time, the fingers become uneven and uneven. This kind of pose may be easier to draw while looking at the materials. Finally, please be careful of the bending position of the hand in the illustration. When you bend your hand a little, you don't bend it directly from your fingertips, but from the plump part under your fingertips. I also drew the bad example, so please try comparing it with the good ones. From here, I will draw various hand poses. When you practice how to draw hands, please prepare a picture of your own hands or reference materials to draw. This time, I am drawing with reference to the pose of the hand that was on Pinterest. Some people try to draw without looking at anything. Not just the hands, but that is wrong. Even professional illustrators refer to materials when they draw illustrations. Even professional illustrators do it, so beginners can't draw good illustrations without looking at anything. If you want to improve your illustrations, please prepare materials for your illustrations. Finally, the points of how to draw the hands are summarized by red and yellow marks. Please refer to it. Next, I will draw complicated hand movements. If the hands are more complex, it will be better to draw the shape structurally. For example, you can draw a beautiful hand pose by first thinking about the length of the fingertip with a line, or thinking about the outline of hand with a triangle. When you consider the pose of the hand structurally, you need to be aware of the curved and rounded shapes. When I draw both hands, I get out of balance with one hand several times and correct the sides. This is a good point about digital art. If you are new to digital tools, you may find it difficult to use, but once you get used to it, there are many useful features. If you are thinking about drawing digital or analog illustrations, I highly recommend digital tools. Finally, the red mark shows the tips for how to draw hands again. Doesn't it look easy to look at even complicated hand poses? You may find it difficult to draw illustrations with hands together. However, it will be easier to draw if you draw semicircles first. When I drew these illustrations, I used the Pinterest illustrations as references. But it may look better while looking at realistic pictures. However, if you practice by looking at the existing illustrations, you can also practice drawing clear hands without shadows. So, if you are a beginner of illustrations, it is recommended to imitate by referring to the illustrations found from Pinterest. It was difficult for me to draw these hand poses, so I am redrawing some poses. You can imagine what kind of character they are by just looking at these hand poses. In this way, you can express the characters with just hands, so it is very important to practice drawing hands. Finally, advanced hand poses. It's a way of drawing an illustration that emphasizes the hand rather than the person. First of all, it is better to draw the hand first than the person. As with any illustration, it's easier to draw the illustration you want to stand out first, and then add the surroundings. In this illustration, the hand is drawn larger than the person, giving a sense of perspective between the person and the hand. I want to explain in detail how to draw a person this time, but I'm thinking of making explanation videos about other body parts someday. If you have questions about the body parts you want to know, please let me know in the comment section. I think it's easy to get an image of the arm if you think about it block by block. Arms closer to the hands are longer, and arms closer to the person are shorter. I have divided the arm blocks by color, so please refer to them. Thank you for watching this video. If this video is interesting, please push a like button. Also, if you ask questions in the comment section, it will be answered as soon as possible. Depending on the content, I may post new videos for answering your doubts and comments. So please subscribe to Animenbo and set notifications for this. There are many people who watch the videos and don't register. So I will be very happy if you help me to grow. See you again in the next video.